Hello and welcome to Corgi Town, USA. I am Candy, and taking up half of my chair is the little loaf of Chuckles, our spokescorg.
I'm Catherine. I stuck Digby outside, so he's not taking up my chair. And of course, my honorary corgi, the cattle dog, Calabria.
Digby got banished.
Digby got banished with Calabria.
Well, if you're new here, hi, welcome. Thanks for joining us. We are a podcast all about corgi lifestyle and pet parent lifestyle. We're here for you every week, all things corgi and pet parent lifestyle. So we talk about training, grooming, health of your pets. We have some veterinarians on the show. We also have a creator series in which we interview different creators that create dog type art, books, paintings.
Yeah.
There's been just the gamut of all kinds of
Clothing.
things. Clothing, yeah. We are in our 7th season.
That is long.
So if you're new here, please check out some of our previous 130 some odd episodes that we've done over the years.
Yes.
Yes. And if you have been with us, thank you so much for listening. We couldn't do it without you.
That's right. And maybe you would check and see. Some people don't realize they did not click to subscribe and like. And we would very much love for you to subscribe. So you might be listening to us every week and didn't realize that you haven't subscribed. So if you could do us that favor,
Please like and subscribe. Yes.
Please like and subscribe.
But we have the whole corgi committee here. Until recently, we had Booger, my little senior lady. Unfortunately, we had to say goodbye to her recently. So it's a little sad around here, around the corgi committee. We miss her a lot. But we do have Mortimer Barnabas and Tito Bandito, and they're also shut out of the studio because we've had a lot of previous seasons where we've lost equipment from all of the frapping and the barking. And although we love it, it's hard for us to stop and keep plugging it. So if you're wondering why aren't they in the studio, that's why.
That's the reason why. So here we go with our guest today, author.
Yes, we have Bill from BillandBuddy, the BillandBuddy book.
Right.
Bill, welcome.
Bill, welcome.
Thanks for having us. Let me grab Buddy here so I can show everybody what Buddy looks like. Come here, Bud.
Yeah. So if you're listening, please go over to our YouTube and you can see how adorable Buddy is. You can
Buddy
see
is a 5-year-old Pembroke Welsh Corgi.
Oh, and just a 5-year-old loaf of perfection.
That's right.
Gotcha.
So yeah, please go over to YouTube so you can see Buddy on screen. Also, we're on Roku, so you can also watch us on your Roku. Yes.
Get that popcorn. Watch us on Roku.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I know. That's so exciting.
Yeah. So you can watch us at home on your television, add us to your stream, all those good things.
All those fun things.
So now back to BillandBuddy. Thank you for joining us today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're happy to hear about it. So for those that don't know, there's the BillandBuddy book.
You want to tell us a little bit about the book?
Yeah.
And the great adventures.
A little bit of a blur here.
Yeah.
Yes. So Buddy's Buddies is our first children's book, and it is inspired by Buddy and I's journey helping out chronic and terminally ill children in hospitals.
Oh, that is wonderful.
Yes.
And so tell us about an adventure and tell us, well, the second part will be tell us what, how you got started in the hospitals. But first, tell us about an adventure in the book.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you about one of so with Buddy's books, our goal is to make an impact. And that's twofold. And the first part of the impact was to get the book and hand them out to children in the hospital, which we recently did. We had a friend of ours who was going through a tough time. He just had surgery. He just had brain surgery. And so he was having a hard time starting his physical therapy. We brought the book into the kiddo. Me, the kid, the mom, all were reading the book with the child, and Buddy was on the floor. And halfway through the book, the kiddo asked, "Hey, Mom, do you mind if I sit on the floor with Buddy?" Now, mind you, this kid was about a week and change out of brain surgery, and so he hadn't started his physical therapy. So it was a very big moment. You can see it in the mom's eyes. And so the kid made his way down to the floor and was just sitting Indian style, and we continued to read the book. And at the very end of the book, when we were done, one of the things I always liked to ask the kiddos, "Hey, Buddy loves when his friends take him for walks around the hospital." And in that moment, he grabbed my arm, he grabbed his mom's arm, we picked him up. The nurse disconnected him, for lack of better wording there, and then we went to walk around the hospital. And in that moment, he started his physical therapy.
That is an amazing story.
Yeah, that's really precious.
Yeah.
That is really precious.
Yeah, the one thing that I found in my experience is, I've been working at children's hospitals now right around 7 years, taking a weekly commitment. Is I was working with them one-on-one, and it would always take time for the kids to kind of open up.
Mhm.
3, 4 visits. In my experience, when I started bringing Buddy into the hospital right around 4 years ago, is it gets instant vulnerability.
Yeah.
It's open up right away, and now you can help them. And just dogs just have that magic power of just kind of opening people up, and now you can help them.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And before we started recording, I was talking about I was in the hospital a couple of years ago, and in the emergency room, and somebody came in with a little dog, and he asked, "Do you want to pet the dog or see the dog?" They have to be hesitant or allergies or whatever. I was like, "Bring that dog to me now," and everything just suddenly became wonderful. The pain in my stomach went away, and
Cat needed the puppy snuggles.
I needed the puppy snuggles,
Yeah.
and that was the instant cure. That was
Really
the
is.
instant cure. So there you have it.
Yeah, I love how you got started. Can you tell us, so Buddy's a Corgi. Can you tell us how you got started with Corgis?
Well, my father is from Ireland, and he grew up with a Corgi. As we all know, they're herding dogs, and so he lived on a farm, and he had a Corgi and a Border Collie.
Oh,
My
wow.
mother, as a teenager into her adulthood, had a Corgi as well. And so for me, it was an easy pick for the breed.
Oh, gee.
So what's your favorite thing about them?
Corgis?
Yeah.
I think with the Corgis is just they're so smart and lovable. Bringing the Corgi into the hospital, which is kind of where we hang our hat, is the kids just love the breed, and they just light them up. They had that smaller dog vibe, but with the big dog personality. And that's some of the feedback that Buddy always gets is he just has like this big personality, certainly well trained, but just isn't very robotic. And so that's one of the things I love about the Corgis. They tend to be, big personalities and very lovable.
Yeah, there's a lot of character in those little floofs.
Yep. That's just a loaf of goodness.
Yeah. Well, they're my favorite too. And I'm a dog trader, so I like a little bit of punk rock in my dogs. Like, they like to give you that little challenge.
Yes.
And
we all have, and sorry to interrupt you there, we all have Corgis here. And so I know for me, when I was training Buddy to become a therapy dog, it's funny how all the things that were like the Corgi instinct, barking, jumping, nipping, were all the stuff that I had to deal with on trying to out-train. Did you ladies have similar experiences with your Corgis?
Mine is not trained. He barely listens to me.
I jumped the gun there. Okay.
Don't say that. I
No,
train him.
he is.
You have to keep up with your practice.
I have to keep up with my practice, which I do to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
He's not as socialized as mine. That's the difference.
That's true.
You don't take him out as much. So yeah. So I mean, that's a lot of the Corgis come to me because I'm the Corgi lady, and I train all. I mean, I love all the doggos, but I'm a big Corgi fan. Obviously, I've had 9 over 20 years.
Yeah.
And I like their sass. I like that they give you a challenge. It shows how independent and how intelligent they are, and how they're going to do what they want, right? And I like that, because the whole idea is not forcing our dog into a box.
Right.
It's encouraging them to make better choices, to make good choices.
Yes.
Right. And so with the Corgis, with this incredible intelligence they have and just strength of character, you can shape that so easily. And my first Corgi was none of those things, by the way. He was not sassy. He was not nippy. He barked. He was a barker.
Right.
But other than that, he was, I mean, you barely had to train him. You'd tell him to do something and he's like, all right, cool. He was just Mr. Roll with it.
God bless you. I didn't have that experience with Buddy. There was some training that went into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think you had mentioned too, you're a dog trainer as well. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
One of the things I did with Buddy while we were going through school, in the interest of making sure he was the best at what he did, is I would show up at the train station at the end of the day, and I had a nice big dry erase board that said therapy dog in training. Please come say hi. Do not let him jump. And so we ended up, the Port Authority cops came over and we were lobbying for people to come say hi to the dog so he would get more repetition. And that was one of the things I did to kind of help train out whatever he was kind of on the fringe with.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Desensitization training.
Yeah.
Desensitization to all that stimuli.
Yeah.
And let's talk about this. Let's segue into this. So we talk about therapy training and kind of your process. And so I'll start with sort of what I know. I've trained some therapy dogs, and one of which is our friend Waylon, who is
Yes.
doing some amazing work in therapy, different types of therapy that he comes along with. And part of a good earmark of training is obtaining the Canine Good Citizen.
Yes, that's huge.
Yeah, Canine Good Citizen, the CGC certification. And you have an evaluator from the AKC. Now, different types of therapy dog programs. CGC is very good to have for therapy training, and there's some, it depends on the client. If it's hospitals, if it's schools, they want that. But there's also a lot of different therapy programs where you don't necessarily have to have that, but they have their own certification you can have.
Yep.
And some of them are a little different with caring about where your dog's coming from emotionally. Like there's some that's like, if your dog gets overwhelmed, you can take them out, take them for a little walk, calm them down, bring them back. AKC does not care. AKC, that dog is to be a wallflower. It's with good reason. You're taking them into all these different types of environments. They're there to enhance, not disrupt the environment. So it's with good reason. However, dogs are not robots. They are animals that have emotions and feelings. So again, it goes full circle to that. We want to encourage them to make good choices. So that activity that you did, desensitizing Buddy to the train station, is such a wonderful thing to do. And I always encourage that with reactive dogs to take them into this. But you train in the trigger, but you need to baby step it if they're already reactive. You can't just throw them in the environment.
No. And you said something that perked my ears. He took them Port Authority, let him. So that would be Port Authority of New York and New Jersey.
Correct.
That is not a train station. That is
pandemonium.
At rush hour. That is pure pandemonium.
Yeah.
I grew up in New York, and that is pure pandemonium. So kudos for being patient enough to bring a dog into that environment, to train the dog. Kudos to Buddy for making it through that, and now what he's doing to help those children. That is amazing.
Yeah.
The thing
tell us about your process.
Buddy,
did you go through AKC and do Canine Good Citizen? Did you have your own therapy program? Tell us about how you two did your journey there.
Yeah, so I went through the Good Dog Foundation, which is New York City based, and that's where we got our credential from. In my experience at the hospitals that I work with, Buddy and I are attached to 2 different hospitals to go visit, where we're fully credentialed and licensed. And those 2 hospitals have 2 and maybe a third organization that they will accept credentials from. So if you are not with the Good Dog Foundation or the second foundation, your credential will not be accepted. And so that's just my experience. I mean, it could be different in other hospitals, but that's 2 New York City based hospitals where you need to get credentials from a specific organization. Otherwise they will not accept it. So if you get a therapy dog certified in Texas from XYZ training, it doesn't always transfer over.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's amazing that you went through that process to train Buddy to help little children. That's I commend you for that.
Thank you.
And you mentioned something again before we started about the book and the proceeds of the book and a foundation. Do you want to touch a little bit on that?
Yeah, tell us more.
Yeah, so that's where this whole journey started. Is I started working with the Marty Lyons Foundation. The Marty Lyons Foundation. Marty Lyons played the New York Jets back in the 80s, part of the New York Sac Exchange.
Yep.
And Marty Lyons started a wish granting organization 40 years ago. And what we are is we're very similar to other wish granting organizations. Our differentiators that we grant second wishes. And I started my journey doing wish coordination, meeting with families and kiddos who were having their wishes granted and working out the logistics with them, whether it go to Disneyland, meet a celebrity, whatever that might be. And from there, after I met the first family, I said to myself, well, I just want to do this on a regular basis. And a couple of weeks later, I started volunteering every week at a children's hospital, and I haven't stopped since. And so that was probably right around 7 years ago. And I was at a children's hospital in New York, and I was DJing on their closed circuit radio show. And my friend in volunteer services saw that I got Buddy, and she said, "Do you want to make him a therapy dog?" And I said, "That's exactly what I want to do." But I didn't know what the cutoff was. I didn't know if he was going to pass. But I thought to myself, let me take action and let me see what this is about. And so she put me in front of the Good Dog Foundation, which is who we're credentialed through. And you know what? God willing, stars aligned. We passed the initial evaluation. From there, we went to school for a month, and then every year we stay on top of our. Every year we got to do our in services, and it's been the best thing I've ever done, bringing that dog into the children's hospital.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, we love the work you're doing. And I'm going to kind of backtrack a little bit. We were talking about the training so you could get him here. And the reason why I want to come full circle to this is because you're talking about the type of work you're doing and supporting at the children's hospital. Children are still learning themselves, and you put them in an environment in which they're vulnerable. They're not in the hospital because they're healthy, and they're in this vulnerable state. So the therapy is so incredible for them to have dogs like Buddy there. But also, your dog has to have strengths there in which they don't disrupt the environment, because the kids are sensitive, children are sensitive, they are vulnerable. You can't have one that's too boisterous or likes to bark or jump or any of those things. So what I would love to ask you, because you were talking about some of the instinctual things that Buddy has due to his breed, what were some of your biggest challenges during therapy dog training? If you think of like one or two, or like our biggest sort of challenge you had to hurdle to cross, and how did you do that?
For me with Buddy is I got him right around the time of COVID, where we was kind of locked down and everybody was home. And so I was blessed where I had a lot of time I could spend with Buddy. And all of his initial instincts, the barking, the jumping, the taking my stuff, were all things that I wanted to train out with him so that he was a dog that was well trained. And it just worked out, if you will, when we went through the evaluation. Everything that I wanted to train out of him, the barking, the jumping, the nipping, don't touch my stuff, that's your stuff, right? Only take food when I tell you, are just the things that you needed to do. And so very organically we passed. And so it was just a matter of just taking the time and investing into making sure my dog was properly trained at the beginning. And it's been, a breeze ever since me putting in that initial grunt work. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. And it's a good lesson. Yes, Digby is trained. Yes, Calabria needs training. My husband and I adopted her. She was a foster with her puppies, and I knew she's not a foster fail, because I knew when I saw her that I was going to adopt her. So she's not a foster fail. And she needs some training too. And it has made a world of difference. I'm not as good at keeping up as I should be, but it has made a world of difference. And even Calabria, she's extremely smart, so she's easy to train even at home, and it makes a world of difference. And then you can take it to the next step.
Yeah. Well, and impulse control is a big part of it. I mean, dogs they're impulsive by nature, and that's normal. But we have to work on getting them to build that. With Chuckles, he's my trained service dog. And his what we had the biggest challenges, one of the markers, and this is among not all of the therapy programs, but the AKC Canine Good Citizen, your dog has to sit with someone on the lead while the handler walks away. Parent, owner, whoever came. And they can't vocalize, they can't jump, they can't go look for you. They have to sit in their nice quiet hold and wait for the handler to return. That one we still struggle with, because he's a psychiatric service dog. So, and he's very work driven. So that made him very easy to train, very intelligent, loves having a job. I'm on it, mom, don't worry, takes it very seriously. But in order for him to do my job, he has to have eyes on me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I walk away, he's like, I don't know that I can do my job because I can't see you, Mom. I don't know where you are. So that one was the one we had the biggest challenge with. But so we're with you. And I just wanted to talk about that for anybody who's listening or watching. If you're either needing a service dog for something for yourself,
Yes.
or you're simply wanting to do this wonderful work like Buddy does, you may be wondering, I don't know if my dog, thinking about, you with Digby, I don't know if we can do this. It is possible. Not all dogs, I will say this, have the temperament to be a therapy or service dog. That is not universal.
No.
If you have an extremely neurotic dog, that's going to be a bigger challenge. It's not impossible, but I wouldn't, temperament does play here. Temperament does play here.
I would say that the bottom line with this, I would say the bottom line with this is have some of that type of training anyway, because it just makes your life easier when your dog is calmer
When
and
you take them
easier.
places and they're comfortable and they're confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Better communication with you. Absolutely.
Yeah, repetition,
But those,
memory. Yeah, just
Yep.
get them out there.
yeah, get them used to the environments. I mean, mine, I socialize the crap out of mine.
Yeah.
We go all the places and do all the things.
Yes.
So
Out of curiosity, as a trainer, I imagine you get asked a lot, hey, what do I need to do to make my dog a therapy dog? Which is something I get asked a lot.
Yeah.
I always start off with, I try to keep it simple with people. And I just say, well, the 2 showstoppers, no barking, no jumping. Start with that, and then we can talk from there. Well, how about yourself? When people ask you what it takes to maybe become a therapy dog or service dog, whatever that might be, what are some of the showstoppers that you maybe talk to them about?
The socialization.
Gotcha.
Very, very akin to what you're talking about. I mean, I always encourage, yes, some of those, I'm real careful to not say good and bad behaviors. And the reason why I say that is because that's subjective. Some homes, it's okay to be on the couch. Some homes, it's not okay to be on the couch. Things like that. Good versus bad, subjective. But I try to say desirable and undesirable behaviors, right?
Right.
Because desirable behaviors for most dogs is the settle cue, right? Laying quietly, waiting for their cue, eyes on handler, waiting for, you guide me on what I'm supposed to do next. You're not going to get there without some semblance of socialization, because if there is too much stimuli around, your dog is going to get to threshold very quickly.
Yes.
And once they're at threshold, they're not going to listen to you. You're not going to be able to get them to respond to cues or to, even rewards sometimes if they're high enough. If you overwhelm them with stimuli. So it's a game of, I always liken it to working out.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to build muscle mass and we want to build healthy muscle, we're going to start with the small weights. We're going to gradually move up. We'll do more reps. We'll do more weights. It's a process. That's how training is.
Yeah.
You start with the simple cues, getting your dog to understand those. And then all of a sudden, something very interesting happens. Handler, parent, whatever you want to call it, if you're working with your dog, you start to communicate better. You start to understand where they're coming from better. And I always encourage to have compassion. So long road to a simple thought in true Candy fashion, I start with the socialization. Get them used to different environments. Get them used to different stimuli. And when you do it gradually. Triggers stack 1 at a time, 2 at a time, depending upon your dog's threshold, how close they are, and always make it a calm and rewarding environment.
Yep.
You got to put up that initial investment of training, though, and work, though. Like, you have to be willing to put that in, too.
It's consistency. And it's just like doing weekly classes. I tell everybody, if you're going to come to several weeks of class, I'm going to know who's doing homework and who's not. It's going to be very obvious.
Yeah. She knows.
We pay attention, right?
Yep. Yeah.
We pay attention.
So what does Buddy do for those who've never experienced or seen a therapy dog in action? We've seen therapy dogs in action, most of us, where we have guides or hearing dogs or that sort of thing. This instance is...
You're talking about service dogs versus therapy dogs. Those
service
are
dogs versus
two different types of
therapy
modalities.
dogs. Thank you. Yeah. So now we have a therapy dog. It is therapeutic to the person who is going through fill in the blank. What does Buddy do in the hospital that provides this therapy?
Well, Buddy really specializes in bringing comfort and joy to kiddos and families that are going through challenging times, right? And I don't know if there's one silver bullet. It's to read the room. There are certain rooms where a kiddo could be, tired from their treatment. And the best move for Buddy is to get up on that bed and just curl up next to them and then just chill. There's other people that maybe you go into the room and the kid's in a good mood and things are going well and they just want to like throw the ball and play the trick. So it's really every room's just, it's is a different vibe, right? And we just read the room and we adjust accordingly.
That's amazing that he can do that and that you can do that room by room by room. That can be emotionally overwhelming. Even, I believe, even for the dogs, because they read a room. As you just said, Buddy reads the room, and they just read people so well.
Yeah, they're energy animals.
Yeah, they are
for
energy
sure.
animals.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the one thing with Buddy, and I think I alluded to this earlier, where he's not robotic, and what I meant to that to get more granular is whenever we're at the hospital, Buddy knows that he's working, and he knows when he's doing his job. But on the other side of the coin, he knows when to be a dog. I throw him into my brother's backyard, and he's gone. He's going to be there all day long. He's going to chase squirrels. He's going to bark at this, bark at that. All training's out the window. If being jokey.
Party time. Yeah.
Exactly. When he's in the hospital, he knows like there's no barking. We're going room to room, right? This is work right now, right? To some degree. And he just, I can't quantify how he knows, but he just knows. And
it's the structure, right? Yeah. One of my favorite things that has ever been said on the show is we had Susan from Queen's Best Stumpy Dog Rescue when we did our 100th episode. And of course she works and rehabs a lot of corgis that have not been given the right guidance and direction in homes. They come to her with behavioral problems. Yeah. One of my favorite things she said is that they're like autistic nonverbal children. And that's how you communicate to them. And I just thought that was such a great tool to use for training to explain it to the handler, because that gives you the perspective of where they're coming from.
It's very true.
But what you're talking about, I think, and this is me opining as a trainer, that when they're in the environment for work, some things are dog time, some things are not dog time. When he's there, it's not necessarily dog time. He has a job to do. So what we've done is create a predictable pattern of things. When you walk in these doors, you are to behave a certain way. This is what's expected of you. And that clarity is so important in training, right? Like what the expectations are. And I think that's, this is my job. This is me going to work. Just like us, most of us aren't going to come in the office and crack open a cocktail or, something like that. And
oh, wait, that's not allowed? Sorry.
But that's the expectation, right?
Yeah,
maybe you want to. There's probably days you want to, but no, my job here is to do these tasks.
Very true.
Very true. Yeah, and I think that's what that is. You've created a predictable pattern, and they don't have to work all the time, and they shouldn't. They should get their decompression as well. Yeah.
Corgis are working dogs. They want to do work.
Absolutely.
That's true. They do want to do work.
Unless you're Mortimer.
Yeah, Mortimer does not want to do work.
I have one that's a professional couch potato.
Yes, this is true.
And it's very important that our dogs get enrichment and engagement, that we take them out, we stimulate them, we get them physical exercise as well as mental stimulation. So when we live in Phoenix and it's so hot here that we can't walk during the summer, it's just too hot. Even in the mornings, sometimes it's too hot. And I'm not a morning person, so I don't want to get up at 4 a.m. and walk my dogs. So we go to a doggy gym that has treadmills. Yep. And they go and they get their exercise there. Chuckles and Tito are very excited to hop on. All right, it's time to do our workout. Let's do this. Mortimer, on the other hand, will protest for the first few minutes, and he will make his noises. Oh, why are you making me do this? Yeah.
Yes.
And even if I walk away for a moment, I will see him step off and have one paw just kind of moving, like he will do anything to get out of his workout.
Exactly.
And he's the first one to go, can I get off now? And he's a boy that wants to be on the couch with his snacks.
That's right.
That's what he wants to do.
It's a good place to be.
99 and 44/100% of corgis are working dogs. 0.1%, maybe not.
But that's the temperament.
That's the temperament.
That's a temperament discussion. We were talking about temperament. It sounds like Buddy has great temperament as a therapy dog because he's a good worker. He's a work mode. Likes having a dog.
That's it. So I want to come back around and I want to talk a little bit more about the book.
Call to action.
The call to action. I want to talk about the book. How can we help? How can we get this book into more people's hands, and tell us where some of the proceeds go?
Yeah. So the goal of Buddy's Buddies, which is book here, and it's a little blurry here, is to make an impact. First impact that I wanted to do is I ended up printed out about 100 copies of the book, And what I'm doing there is I'm handing out to kids at the hospital free copies. And I think I told you a story earlier about, one of the kids we made an impact with already. The second goal of the book is to help grant wishes for terminally ill children via the Marty Lyons Foundation, because 50% of the proceeds of the book will go towards helping grant a wish. Now, the average wish right now costs about $7,100. So the more hands we can get this book into, the more kids and families we can help out.
That's wonderful. And where can our listeners get the book? And we will also have it on the...
We'll drop the links down in the description box in both YouTube as well as the audio links. But if you're listening, and most of our audience does listen,
right,
we want you to go ahead and tell them how they can find your book and how they can support the foundation.
Yes.
So it's being sold on right now Amazon as well as Barnes and Nobles. And it's very simple as looking up Buddy's Buddies, and you'll find the book.
Perfect.
That's amazing.
And we're making a donation each time we buy the book. And by the way, I want to say I love that you've told us. I don't think very many of us think of wishes being granted costing money. I mean, of course they do, resources, but I never thought about that. That $7,100 to fulfill is that
on average.
Yep.
Wow.
$7,100. Yep.
Wow.
It's wonderful to have people like yourselves who bring the Marty Lyons to light, Buddy's Buddies to light, to open up the space to help these kids' wishes come true. So I really do appreciate you ladies bringing me on the show and soapboxing this book as well too, because ultimately what we want to do is help other people. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. We're happy to help. I mean, we're animal lovers, and on this season we have an animal soul contract practitioner that talks about doing soul contracts. And Kat and I, we found out in our soul contract both have this animal lover helper frequency.
There's a number, and every number has a frequency, and
it's very woo woo.
Very woo woo. But Candy it tracks because we're both 8s, and 8s in your soul contract, or you are a lover of animals, and our guest compared it. And Gilliana, who's a longtime friend of both of ours, and she compared it. She said, I don't have any 8s in my contract, and I don't have any pets, and I'm okay with that. I have a different, direction. Those of us who are 8s are listening to this show, buying the book, and doing all the things with our wonderful fur babies.
Also helpers, right? Having bleeding hearts, helping children. We want to get those wishes fulfilled.
That's right.
If you're listening, viewing, please go over and follow Bill and Buddy. Please purchase the book. It sounds like you are going to enjoy it for sure. So there's definitely something in it for you, and you are helping lives.
That's right.
Any final thoughts, Bill?
Final thoughts here. The best final thought would be, let me make sure that Buddy gets to come on this camera one more time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We are very pro this.
What do we got there? All right.
There he is. And he's so mellow getting picked up and coming on camera.
Used to being schlepped around.
Yep.
Tell your friends to buy your book.
Hi, Buddy.
Bye, Buddy. Buy the book.
There you go.
Chuckles says hello, even though he's napping.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Bill, you have a great rest of your evening. We thank you so much for what you're doing. And again, we will share those links in the description box on where to buy the book and how you can help.
That's right. Amazon, Buddy's Buddies.
Perfect. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you. And we hope that you've enjoyed this episode. Please like and subscribe. Follow us. We are here for you every week. All things Corgi and pet parent lifestyle. Coming from the studio, Tito Bandito, Mortimer Barnabas, of course, Chuckles, our spokesclerk, myself, Candy.
And Catherine, Digby, Calabria.
An Angel Booger.
An Angel Booger.
We'll see you next week.
See you next time. Bye.